Hello there, followers. Welcome to the Nerd Cult, a not-so-secret society dedicated to all things nerdy. As usual, I am 1/3 of your host, Tyler Lee.
And it's me, Brock Parsons. And today, I'm actually half of your hosts. So, that's a surprise.
I just said I'm 1/3 and you're half. What does that make us?
That just means that we can blame our really bad math on Josh being gone. And, I mean, really, if this were an RPG game, he would be, whatever, say you're Kate Sith,
he's Kate
whatever.
Sith, I was about to say it.
Yeah, whatever character it is that, you just never level up, and then he dies right away. You had to use him that time. And
he said make sure to talk trash about him. I think that's the worst thing we could have said about him. Said he's Kate Sith.
You want to know something especially funny? One of our listeners, Lance, our really good friend who likes to troll people, in real life, he will use Kate Sith. He will absolutely destroy with Kate Sith.
Fuck that.
Of course he would, right? Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
That's insane to me, but
I refuse to do it.
Yeah. And I mean,
he's not fun.
No, it's like using Riku in Final Fantasy X. It's like, I love Riku, but it's like she's like, I mean, kudos to whoever can do it, but I can't do it.
We're probably gonna get a lot of hate from that. There's probably some Riku lovers out there, which is fine. To each their own. Again,
as a character, I love Riku. It's just that she cobbles the bombs together, and it's like, whew, it's a nightmare. Yeah. But, yeah, so Josh is dead for tonight. We will try to get some Phoenix Downs and bring him back.
He's Riku. He's Kate Sith. Those are literally, I think, the two worst things I've ever said about anybody in my entire life.
But, I mean, we were having kind of a rough battle, so, we almost all died. For, about 10 seconds before this started,
listeners, you almost didn't get a podcast this week, and we'd have given you one of our in-between episodes that is on Patreon or something.
I'm glad it worked out.
Yep. But anyway, let's get on to our thing. Brock, you got a couple things to talk about. What are you going to talk about first?
Yes, I do. First, I'm going to launch into a game that I wanted to talk about last year, because it came out last year. It was an episodic release, which is Life is Strange Before the Storm. And I can't give too much away about the plot. As with many things that I talk about, it's like a sequel or a prequel. In this case, it's a prequel. The original game, if you don't know, takes place in Oregon in a fictional town called Arcadia Bay. It's heavily inspired by some cult sci-fi shows, but really they started making this game around the idea of these sort of stereotypical characters, and then they had a really rough outline of just a plot that was going to happen. They came up with a game mechanic, which not really spoiler alert because you find out pretty much immediately, or if you have the demo you find out, so it's not a spoiler. Time travel's the thing that the game's really about. So they kind of
that's never a bad idea in a video game. I don't know if I've ever played a bad video game with time travel or watched a convoluted movie with time travel.
No, it could never go wrong.
It should be in all games.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that makes this interesting is that they kind of didn't screw themselves over with the time travel thing, because it's like basically your character realizes that she has the ability to rewind time. So it's kind of a dialogue-driven, third-person, heavy story-driven game. They added on, I found out about the fact that they started out with stereotypes for characters, way after I played it. I would have never guessed, because they just fleshed them out so well. And I mean, again, just still talking about the first game, basically you'd have a conversation, and it was you'd have button command based, what is it called, you're watching a movie scene and
QuickTime events.
Yes, QuickTime events. Not necessarily all of them were do it now or you're running out of time, but some of them were like that, I guess. But most of them are you're just having a conversation and you get to choose what to say. It's really similar to what Telltale did with The Walking Dead and what is it, werewolf game, Wolf Among Us, I believe is what it's called. Am I right? Am I right, Tyler? Is that
The
what
Wolf
it's called?
Among Us, yes.
The
but-
Wolf Among
Oh
Us.
god, I want to play werewolf game now.
Werewolf game. Is it
Whatever
not about
the
a
hell
werewolf?
game.
Am I wrong?
I don't even care.
I
I
haven't-
don't even care what that game is. If you release a game and call it werewolf game, I'm gonna buy it. I don't even care.
Indie developers, that's yours. You take it. Just give us a little bit of credit.
You can have that.
Yeah, you can have that though. So it's very similar to the. Have you ever played any of those games, Tyler? Telltale.
Yes, actually, on a previous site I used to work for, I reviewed all of The Walking Dead Season 1.
Nice.
I've also played The Wolf Among Us.
Nice.
And I have currently downloaded on my PS4, I haven't got to them yet, the Game of Thrones Season 1 and Batman Season 1.
Very nice.
But Telltale has... Oh, and I played Back to the Future, so...
You played more than me.
Telltale pretty much knocks it out of the park, so...
They do a fantastic job. I'm definitely not going to knock them. I'm only going to go with what the internet has told me, which is to say that a lot of people, whenever they're talking about Life is Strange, which is made by Don't Nod, it's like a subgroup of Square Enix. Square Enix basically paid for the whole thing. Basically, everybody always says it's like Telltale, just like way more fleshed out. And I figure I liked both. I've played The Walking Dead. I played a little bit of the Batman game. I can't think of what it's called. I can't think of these video game names. But I mean, they were like super fun. One thing that was kind of different about Walking Dead, and that kind of made that stand out, was like pretty much no matter what choice you made, you were just fucked. Like they were all bad choices.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, in the spirit of The Walking Dead, that was perfect. So I guess
every decision I made, I was just like, I had to ask myself, all right, how's this going to break my heart? Because it's gonna.
Right?
I know it's gonna.
So to somewhat contrast with that, and I mean, that makes sense because that's The Walking Dead. That's like the theme of The Walking Dead is like hopelessness. But to contrast with that, in Life is Strange, the decisions that you make are like they feel super real. Like they have subtlety. You don't really know if a decision's good or bad, because you don't really know how to quantify good or bad. Like, sometimes you'll make a decision and, like, way later in the game, you'll notice, like, oh, hey, that little thing I did, like, it's coming back. And, like, I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but it's interesting. It kind of rewards me because I like to talk to everybody and do everything. And so generally, like, you know, if you don't talk to a character the first time, you're not really missing anything. It's just starting a conversation later about different things. But it does kind of reward you to like develop these relationships with different characters. And then the time travel mechanic gives it a whole new spin because say the conversation doesn't go the way that you wanted to, you could start it all the way over again. And a lot of it is like kind of some mystery noir stuff. So you're going back in time and you're kind of like getting information out of a character that wouldn't ordinarily have given you much information. So like you start out and they're a stranger, and then you were to go back in time after you like learn just a little bit about, like, say they're being super hostile, you go back in time just a little bit and you have like some new information, like, oh hey, I know about your mother, or something like that. And then maybe you could just keep reversing it over and over.
I don't feel like that would make anybody less hostile.
Yeah, right. It takes some like cleverness, some of the puzzles, for sure. And I mean,
kind of like LA Noire a few years ago.
A little bit like that. Imagine playing LA Noire, but you're able to just kind of find everything out and then just skip talking to some people if you want to.
the decisions that you made aren't completely erased and made arbitrary by the end of the game?
Yeah. So, I mean, another cool thing about that, too, is like sometimes I piss a character off by asking things, and then I get the information, I just reverse time. It's as if the conversation never happened. They never get mad. It's kind of fun. You can really play it in a lot of ways however you want. I mean, it introduces some deeper time travel mechanics later on, and I mean, again, I'm going to try not to give too many spoilers, and I'm not even to the prequel game that I'm going to talk about, but I'm not going to give much away there. But basically, I mean, you're able to have multiple timelines sort of thing. So you're not Back to the Futuring anything, I guess. You're just kind of living out different timelines. And it's just interesting that you have, like, the way that they built that game was just on this heavy narrative, and you're kind of going on, like, you're playing as a high school girl, and she listens to music that I wouldn't even ordinarily listen to. She, like, is into things that I mean, well, okay. I mean, I'm a photographer, and the girl in the original game was a photographer, but we didn't share much other than that. So it's like somehow they made me care about that character. Like she's in my top 10. Like I don't want anything to happen to Max Caulfield. But the prequel is about another character in the series. It's the protagonist's best friend. You get a prequel game about her friendship with pretty much the mystery of Life is Strange was about a missing girl, and your best friend in the game used to be friends with this girl before she disappeared. So the prequel, which is the game I'm really talking about, is kind of covering their relationship. So it takes away the time travel mechanic, and I remember not only that, there was like a writer's strike, there was a video game voice actor strike, and I remember being like a pretty darn cautious of playing this game because I was like, the first one was so perfect. I don't want to see, like, they kind of handed it off to like it's still the same company and a lot of the same people from what I understand, but it's like they still kind of handed it off to like they have like two groups working on video games now. So I was super worried going into this, and then I kept seeing really good reviews. I kept hearing really good things, and after they released the last episode, I was like, okay, I'm going to jump into this, and yeah, I don't regret it. It's I mean, it's like it's up there with the best of the Telltale games that I played, maybe better. I mean, it's maybe up there with the first game, which was like one of my favorite games of the past few years, maybe. It's interesting because I think you just get to it's like reading a book, and even if you're not even if you're not on the same page with these characters, that's completely right. I mean, I guess that's not always like that for some people. Some people read a book and they're like, this character's stupid. I don't want to read about this person. But for me, getting into somebody else's shoes is all about what book reading is about. And so this game, it's like, even though it's a decision-based game, and even though it took away the time travel stuff to where you have even less options, I mean, it just feels like you're this girl. And she's like somebody who is like very different from me. Like her upbringing is very different from what mine was, but I can't help but just be constantly relating to her, and all of the decisions she makes. I feel like it's like the same stuff that I would really be doing in real life. And I mean, while you have like a certain degree of decision making, it's like a lot more linear than the last game as well. Kind of because it's a prequel, it's kind of hard to avoid that. But just they really have knocked it out of the park. I'm on like pretty much at the climax of the final chapter, and again they're episodic, which not every game can pull off. I don't want that for every game, but Life is Strange, that's kind of their thing right now. So
that's what I'm hoping. I hope Dark Souls Remastered, I hope that's how they release it, is just episodic.
Are you serious?
No.
Okay.
God, no.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
It would be horrible.
I had to think about it. I was like, it slowly sunk in.
Okay, I feel like I've gotten better throughout life. People know when I'm joking, but you gave me like a flashback to college and to just a few years ago when no one could tell when I was joking because I just deliver it so seriously.
So people
I'm
have,
regressing. Especially
about video games, some really strange decisions, and some people feel very strongly about episodic releases. I like them. Again, I don't think it's for every game.
Yeah, I like them for some games.
Especially for like somewhat linear stories. I mean, I love the idea. I mean, it feels like I'm watching a TV show, except it's like I think each of the episodes in this game were like I don't know, like maybe 3.5 hours per episode, which is kind of long, but you can take breaks, you can stop. We probably spent like two evenings per episode, and there are 3 episodes total. So but yeah, some people feel very strongly about episodic games. Some people are like, this is the future, every game must be episodic. So no. I think that's the only reason why for like half a second I was like, okay, is he just having a really bad idea? I think he's joking because this is the podcast and we don't typically shout out really bad ideas.
That would not be my first really bad
idea.
Let's be honest.
Sure.
It was my idea to do this podcast. I'm just saying.
Ha. Wow.
Humor.
So anyway, I'm probably gonna ease off of that game for now, but super high recommendation, especially if you've ever played the first Life is Strange and enjoyed it. Like, just letting people know it's like just as good as the original. Good stuff.
I've heard good things. I definitely need to check it out.
Yeah, totally. Something I wanted to mention in the podcast too.
Yes.
In Life is Strange Before the Storm, there's just you don't even have to do this, but that's kind of the beauty of Life is Strange. There's some people playing D&D, and you can walk up to them, and you can become really good friends with them. And it's actually really weird for me to imagine the story without them. I imagine they'd have to come in somehow.
It's the prequel to Stranger Things.
Yeah, basically. And so, like, they're super nerdy, and the character that you're playing, you wouldn't think that she would be a D&D person, and the way she plays is fantastic. I would love to have her on the team. It's hilarious. So there's some D&D.
Let's see if we can get her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's bring in the fictional characters. I don't know what fictional characters I would actually like to play D&D with, but that adds some layers, some meta layers that I don't want to think about too hard.
Yeah, I don't want to. We definitely don't need to. We could do a whole podcast episode on that probably.
That's a little too deep right now.
And instead, let's move on to I got to play a game over the weekend that I feel like is pretty much the same as Life is Strange, pretty much in the same vein.
Yeah, the exact same thing.
The exact same thing. Yeah, I got to try out the beta for Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's not the same as Life is Strange.
It's
obviously
a little bit different.
A little bit different, or Dragon Ball FighterZ. However you want to say it.
New Dragon Ball Z game. You can say it that way.
I only question it because did you see that that Vegeta has officially challenged Goku to the game?
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Christopher Sabat officially went on YouTube and challenged Sean Shamel to Dragon Ball, and he called it Dragon Ball FighterZ. So that's why I'm wondering. But apparently they're gonna live there's an event, like a con or something, and I'll probably get called out on this, I'm probably wrong, but there is an event that they're both going to go to after the game releases, and they're going to play, in front of an audience.
Nice.
And I can't think of any... I didn't know I wanted that until I saw the video, and then I realized that I've never wanted anything more.
I'm so stoked about that. I'm actually really surprised because they've been buds forever. I mean, some of the best voice actors in the business in my mind, and they kind of started out from nothing, but they started out together. So it's really cool. I always support anything both of them are doing, honestly.
Well, and they've both been in so many things, especially Christopher Sabat. God, he's been in everything.
Gosh, he's been in every anime. And he's like a big time producer. He's a big head at Funimation, and he really loves what he's doing. And I think that's why we get. I mean, especially right now with Dragon Ball Super, we got such a fantastic dub out of that. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that we came from I remember just the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z back in the day, the shitty.
Back in the day.
Yeah, and even the original Funimation. I mean, just all the censoring and editing and just it's weird to think.
Yeah, it was rough. But anyways,
yes,
I got to take part in the beta for Dragon Ball FighterZ or Dragon Ball FighterZ. Which will henceforth be referred to as Dragon Ball FighterZ until someone corrects me. But I got to do the beta for that, and I gotta say, it was actually a lot of fun. Despite the fact that I didn't actually get to participate in a match against another human opponent. I didn't get to participate in any online matches. Their system apparently was just fucked up, according to a lot of people.
Yikes.
A lot of people didn't get a match.
Let's hope that's not an issue with the main release.
Well, it's a beta. I get it.
Yeah, it is a beta.
There for.
No doubt.
So
I imagine demand was crazy high.
Wasn't it was. There was a lot of people in there. You could tell.
Yeah.
But they did have the entire tutorial available for you to do, which taught you how to play and everything. And each tutorial ended with you having to fight the computer. So I did get to actually play the game. I get to play it, and it's in with all of it, and learn all the moves and everything. And it's so fun. It's the fighting game I've been waiting for since the first Budokai game.
Now, have you played any of their other fighting games by that company?
I've by that company. Oh, I've played Blaze Blue,
nice.
which I love.
Nice.
It's so pretty and so fun. And I've played Guilty Gear.
I was gonna say
not as much as Blaze Blue, but Guilty Gear is also a very, very good game.
And the titles for Guilty Gear are really weird, and that's why I'm not gonna be able to think of them. But I played one of the sequels. a couple generations back, and I had such a blast. So I've been really looking forward to this game.
Oh, they're very good, and that's when I saw it. And first off, when I saw the 2.5D graphics, I was intrigued, and then I remember them saying, "Yeah, it's by what was the name of it? Arc Systems Works.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the company developing it, and people who did Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue." And I said, "Oh, this could be great."
Right.
And even though to me, when I play it, it has a real kind of Street Fighter feel to it.
Sure. Yeah. The 2.5D,
well, like,
I think, will always feel kind of like Street Fighter Super or whatever.
Well,
yeah.
It doesn't help that... Okay, so to do the moves, like, do you remember in Budokai how it was button combinations? Like, I guess they're all button combinations, but it was like punch, 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 kick, energy blast. Like,
yeah.
But in, like... You know how in Street Fighter, instead it's like... It's like slide left, slide right, high kick or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the classic Hadouken, roll forward... punch or something like that, and it's the Hadouken, like the one that everybody can do.
Absolutely.
And then the kick is like roll back. Well, what you're training as Goku in like one of your first things, and then it's like, okay, so this is how you do like one of your special moves, and of course it's the Kamehameha wave.
Sure.
And it's like, this is how you do like a quick one, and it said put in this button combination. It's roll forward punch.
Whoa! So they
like
make
it's
it
the
easy.
exact same thing to shoot the Hadouken,
Yeah,
and the Hadouken and the
Hadouken.
Kamehameha blast are based around the same principle of shooting the blue energy beam. So I was like, of course it is.
Well,
so
I love Mortal Kombat and all, but the easy button combinations, I'm just better. It's just funner. I mean, right? Like
that's me too.
It's just a little easier to play, and I think for me, at this point in my life, I'm not trying to learn a bunch of button combinations. I just kind of want to shoot Kamehameha waves. So
that's the main reason that I like Mortal Kombat, but it's not my game. Like my game is actually I'll play Street Fighter because I can do like the moves and stuff like that. It's simpler button combinations, but that's basically how you do the special moves and everything in Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball FighterZ.
That's fantastic. How many characters were you allowed to pick from just in the beta?
There's actually quite a few. Let's see if I can name them all without looking anything up. There was obviously favorites like Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo. You could do Adult Gohan or Kid Gohan,
Nice.
Or it was Super Saiyan. Let me rephrase that. It was Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan Vegeta, Super Saiyan Kid Gohan.
Oh, that brings up. Sorry to interrupt, but I have another question related to that. So are Super Saiyan transformations a thing that you can do mid-battle?
As far as I could tell, it looks like they're separate characters, but I
Okay.
don't know if that's a thing that you will be different in game.
Sure.
Because technically, you could only use characters that, aside from a couple, most like the Saiyans, were all already Super Saiyan.
Okay.
So there was no like regular Goku. Although I'll say this: when you won as Goku, he went regular at the end of the match.
Oh, okay.
Like during his victory thing. But you had Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan Vegeta, Super Saiyan Kid Gohan, Super Saiyan 2. So when he kicked Cell's ass.
Sure.
And you had Adult Gohan, who in Dragon Ball Super he goes Super Saiyan, but in Dragon Ball Z he wasn't able to at the end.
Yeah.
Because they unlocked his potential. They also had Piccolo, Krillin, Cell, Frieza, Perfect Cell,
Nice.
actually, and Final Form Frieza.
Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Was the most
Go ahead.
important character there Hercule Satan?
He was not. He might be in the game, but he was not there.
Yeah, okay, darn.
I think the other ones were there was Yamcha and Tien, and there was probably a few others. I just can't remember if they were there. I didn't get to play it like all day and all night. I only got to play it for a few hours.
Yeah.
And again, I only got to do the tutorial. But
Okay, well, you know.
Super Saiyan Future Trunks.
Ah.
I'm not gonna lie, it looked like he had on the jacket, which is a little bit different colored tint than the one from Dragon Ball Z. It looked like the Future Trunks from Dragon Ball Super.
Oh.
Which would be cool.
Well, I mean, so one of the few things I know about the game is that they have just been continually adding character after character after character. I don't think it's going to be quite like the last Budokai game or anything, because at that point they just had all of them. But I know
they are adding. They have added or announced super characters.
Yeah,
Dragon Ball Super characters.
They've added like a ton of super characters. which is great. I mean, I'm hoping that there's going to be sequels where, I mean, some of the stuff that they didn't add in this game is going to be in the next one, hopefully. But, you know, we're still at the beta.
Yep.
Well, that's
I mean,
cool.
it comes out in 11 days.
Oh, it's that close. Okay.
Yep, the
Excellent.
26th.
Nice. Do you think
Same
you'll pick
day
it
as-
up day one, or what do you think?
I'm gonna try. It comes out the same day as Monster Hunter World,
Ooh.
which is gonna be rough for me because like I played the beta. I'm definitely thinking about picking this one up day one, but
Sure.
there's never been a question that I was grabbing Monster Hunter World day one.
Okay,
so-
okay, nice. I was going to say, if it came down to like a choice, that would probably be pretty darn hard.
Well, and apparently video games just hate me because also about a week after that, the remake of Shadow of the Colossus comes out, which I have to get.
Whew. I'm so stoked about that.
So I'm just like, really? Video games? Why?
There's too much. And I'm still recovering from all the Steam sales. I'm like, obviously
Well,
still playing just...
Lucky for me,
just
I
one
don't
of
have
my
to-
games. Yeah.
I don't have to worry about that because I don't have a system that can run them.
In some ways, it's like ignorance is bliss there. I'm not saying that like you're ignorant, but it's like I almost wish that like I was just free from those shackles of like just having everything available to me all the time. For a long time, just ruined me on video games. Like I just wouldn't play anything. And lately, I've been just more stringent about it. Like I just like I've tried to force myself.
You're like-
Mostly, I'm
you
gonna
sound
blame
like
them.
you sound like those people that say they're oppressed when they're white.
Good point. Yeah, this is not a real problem. Let me just disclose that this is not a real problem. One thing that the podcast has helped me with is actually playing the games and doing the things that I've had
Yeah,
saved.
same
from it.
here. It actually gets me to play new stuff instead of just replaying everything.
Yes.
Although that being said, for the next 2 weeks, I'm probably gonna dive back into Bloodborne because because God damn it, From Software announcing the remaster of one of my favorite games, Dark Souls, has got me into all things Souls again. Why did you do this to me?
Can't
Why'd you
wait
pull
to
me
see
back
it in episodic format, though.
Episodic format. Episode 1. Fuck you.
Like, well, you said it, and I was like, I think that's a joke, and then it sunk in what that would be like. Like, it really, really sunk in what it would be like. Just
It
horrible.
would be so horrible.
But yeah, I'm stoked about that. I mean, I played the first one, and I wish we had been recording it, but I played Dark Souls 3, and I mean, I just pounded the shit out of the first like two monsters, the two bosses, I guess I should say. Like, I just went straight through that tutorial that usually kills everybody. Just went through that, made it all the way to the next boss, did that, didn't die, made it all the way to the... I think some stupid, like a fucking skeleton got me. But then I made it to the next boss, and I beat him relatively easy. I don't know what happened.
I'm definitely getting that day one, so
Yes.
maybe we could do a let's play on that with me playing.
I'd watch. I'd be into it.
Just hear me cursing just up a storm the whole time.
Yeah.
Not too much.
Constant.
Not too much in the beginning, but there are some points in the game. The game never cheats. I will say that. I love the game. I think it's very, very fair. But man, there are just some points where I just feel like just throwing the controller.
I don't blame you.
like, oh, I'm just not. I gotta do. This means I gotta do Blighttown again.
Yeah. It's something I can only do if I'm not very stressed out. But
yeah,
it's a lot funner for me now than it used to be, though. Like the first playthrough, like the first half of the game, it was just me being kind of sad about having to play it, and then oddly enough, well, no, it was yeah, I felt like a masochist. I was like, I really love the lore, but this is not really fun for me. And then I got to a
the
point.
lore is the thing that like keeps me coming back for more because I love how you discover it. It doesn't tell you anything. You have to
Right?
you have to find it all out on your own.
Somehow I really did fall in love with Dark Souls, though. I don't know what happened, but just about halfway through, it was like something about the lore and me learning not to just. I don't know. I got good at it. You get good.
You
at the
get
Dark
good?
Souls. Yeah, you get good. So, I don't know, but I'm excited. I'm excited for the remake. I'll play it for sure.
All right, so that's my Dark Souls rant.
Yes.
Did you have any other questions about the beta for Dragon Ball FighterZ?
None off the top of my head. I think you covered a lot of it. A beta's a beta, but
Okay.
you know.
Beta is a beta. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I will say this: it got me this excited with me just playing the tutorials.
That's awesome.
Because it just the moves are very very simple, but at the same time, it's like I said, it's like Street Fighter, it's like Blaze Blue, it's like Guilty Gear. You know, the right button combinations get you the power ups, and then just the fighting itself is very smooth.
Sure.
But most importantly, it looks like Dragon Ball, like the Dragon Ball universe.
I was gonna say, I mean, it's beautiful from the pictures I've seen.
You'll hit them, juggle them up in the air, and then you hit a button, and then you like power up really quick and dash after them in the air.
Oh my
do
gosh.
Another combo.
Sounds excellent.
Shoot energy beams. It's amazing.
That's fantastic. Well,
Brock, you have another thing you want to talk about because you're greedy, like
just real quick, bring it up.
So
I wanted to do this for this podcast, but I not yet. So next podcast, I'm going to delve into VR chat. I don't have any VR capabilities, but you don't need them for VR chat. And if you don't,
that makes sense to anybody else out there.
If you don't know what VR chat is, imagine. So in 1990, let's go back to 1998, real fast. In 1998, I watched the show.
I refuse.
I watched the show
not.
Serial Experiments Lain, and I learned about the Wired. And basically, it was a higher form of the internet. It was almost like a VR world, and the stronger the computer you had, the more quickly you were able to access it. And like to me, I was like, the future of the internet is some combination of that and like early 2000s 4chan anarchy internet. And I thought whenever GTA 5 Online happened that was peak what I thought of. But also that it turned out wasn't really for me. I'm not super into GTA Online. I love GTA 5, but not GTA Online. But this VR chat is just this shitty little game that you can free download, and it's become extremely popular. And basically, it's just these worlds that you can go to, and they're inhabited by just this insane chaos. For instance, one of the videos that I watched about VR chat featured the person being surrounded by maybe 20 Hank Hills, and all the Hank Hills were asking him questions like, "What's your favorite thing? What's the favorite thing in the world? Propane? Oh yeah." And then another Hank Hill said, "How do you like your steak?" And he was like, rare." He took too long to answer, and then they attack him, and they won't let him go. It's it's amazing. So that's just one small example. It's just internet chaos, and of course, the big thing being that you can go there in VR, and you can pick like any avatar you want. You can be anybody you want. It's really how I thought the internet was going to be in 1998. It's how I imagined the future. And I mean, it's not. Of course, I never had any idea that like memes and shit were going to be a thing in 20 years. But it's that, but with memes. So basically,
people are gonna like the future. They're gonna find when this becomes ancient times, they're just gonna find like a bunch of memes and think that was our society.
It was.
It kind of was.
And I'm still gonna be just living in a satellite somewhere in VR Minecraft world, whatever.
VR Minecraft world.
Yeah, whatever.
I'll do that. That'd be fun.
That would be kind of fun. Yeah.
Oh god, no! I'll be stuck in a Dark Souls VR. I don't know why I chose this.
No. Over and over and over. Back to Blighttown. And then your disc gets scratched. Whatever VR disc future method.
I would become so bitter and just hateful. I'm pretty sure I would become the boss that people would have to beat in the Dark Souls VR. I would just become so bitter and overcome with hatred that eventually, like 100 years trapped in there, someone would just walk in and I'd be sitting on a throne and my in-game dialogue would just be like, "So you finally come, child.
Child.
You know not what the memes say."
So it's incredible. So, we're living in the future, and
indie developers, that's yours.
Yes.
You can have that.
You can have
just
that.
Change the name from Dark Souls and you got it.
Werewolf game. buy it.
That's werewolf game right
That's
there.
werewolf game. Yep. VR.
We're doing all your work for you. Come on.
Whew. You know, we're creators. That's what we do.
We are.
So Tyler, you had a little fun segment planned for us at the end here.
Yeah, I got a new segment I'm going to try out. We'll see how this goes.
Okay.
I don't really have a name for it. I guess we could call it, like, I don't know. I basically dive into Reddit, God help me, and just find some funny nerd-related stuff. And I found 3 things that I'd like to bring up, talk about, get a good laugh out of. This first one. Brock, you're familiar with Game Informer, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm a big fan of Game Informer. One thing I always liked is in their magazine, they'd always explain their scoring system right before their reviews in the magazine.
Sure.
And it's 1 through 10, and each number they'd explain, and it'd always be the same, but number 1 would always be some funny joke.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
And I found a picture on here, and it said, this was in Game Informer today, and it was their scoring system. It is 10 through 2, and then at 1, a Jeet Pie.
That's fantastic.
This is what happens when you try and take net neutrality away from us. You get labeled the worst thing ever.
A 1.
You become a 1.
That's like
in the video
Superman game. Nintendo 64 level. Like, you know you're a piece of shit if you're a 1.
Speaking of piece of shit, one of the best comments says, 1 is a piece of jit.
That's good shit. Thank you, Reddit. Thank you, Reddit comments.
Yep.
That's nice.
The next one is, okay, it's funny, but it's also, like, not funny, which means it's funny. But it's so you heard about, like, the fucking Hawaii scare from, like, a couple days ago?
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, apparently they accidentally hit the button or something.
And everybody thought they were going to die for about 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. I have 2 friends there.
Woo.
And all I could think of when I saw this was, somebody has to be fired. Like, seriously.
Right?
It's like, how do you do that?
It's surely, on that subject, like, surely it's like a multi-person sort of thing to send out a message to everybody in Hawaii, right? Otherwise,
hopefully, but apparently it's just a button that's uncovered that when you go to get up out of your chair, if you just put your hand in the wrong spot, it's like, damn it, I hit it.
Jesus. Wow.
So that being said, it was serious. I'm sure that was very terrifying. I'd have shit my pants, probably. That being said, someone posted a picture and it said, I just bought my Hawaiian shirt and pants combo, and it's it's a uniform from Fallout Vault 111.
Take to your vaults, Hawaiians.
Oh, God.
I just imagine, like, there had to have been a few people that, like, either gave in to the fact that they were about to explode or, like, ran to their shelter, and they have, like, a Fallout-esque labyrinth of tunnels filled with food.
They actually broke out their actual Fallout suits. They're like, I've been waiting on this. Here we go.
Yeah, they had, like, their Pit Boy. Had to think about it.
I wonder if they're still down there, because those things lock.
Yeah, right. Well, I heard that there's going to be, just a ton of lawsuits for various reasons. Generally, if you tell somebody they're about to die, there are lawsuits to have. So,
to be fair, if people did go into a vault and it's not going to open up for like 30 to 40 years, we'll probably all be dead by that time anyway, because, that's, with the president we have, we're going to get nuked. Let's just be clear.
Well, I would hate for us to be turned into a shithole country, but,
Okay, yeah. We're
not going to go there.
We're not going to go here.
Upset about things. Shit.
Moving on to this next one on Reddit.
Okay.
Is this one's not quite with the times, but I found it hilarious. It's the cover for Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
I don't know what it is, but it's easy to forget that name. I've called it like a bunch of weird things.
Out.
Yeah, we'll take that out.
Well, apparently, on this poster, it's quite an apt name, actually. Instead, they nicknamed it The Legend of Rain at Inconvenient Times, which was pretty much my playthrough of that fucking game.
I've seen people complain about that more than almost anything. Actually, one of our 1-star reviews of Breath of the Wild, I don't know if you remember, somebody said, It just rain all the time, enemies everywhere.
Now, I'm not complaining about the rain. I love that mechanic.
Me too.
It is there at very inconvenient times.
It sure is. It didn't hit me at bad times. I mean, it did. I mean, it was
It only hit me at bad times.
an element of shittiness, but it was. I mean, it was fun for me. I never had.
I still like it. I'm glad it's in there.
Yeah, same. I actually always had fun when it rained, but it never caught me at such a time that I was like, no.
Also, someone comments and said, another name, Weapon Breaking Simulator. That's also an apt description of this game.
Accurate. Not as much as a few games that I played. Like half of Dark Souls before I realized you could do... I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, yeah.
Real? Okay, basically. I just want to say, I've never broken like a weapon or anything in Dark Souls.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. I've had a couple things, but you can fix them like really quickly.
Sure.
So it's not really like a huge... But that was never a problem for me. But that being said, as much as you break stuff in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is like every other fight, I feel like you're breaking something.
Sure.
It never caused me problems because I always had plenty of stuff.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I
thought it was cool, and then I got the Master Sword and was like, eat it, bitches.
Damn, love that Master Sword. That's such a good time. Sometime I need to go back and just spend another 50 hours in Breath of the Wild because I never finished it, but it's like, I mean, obviously I didn't do a lot of things that I would like to go back and do.
Same. I was about to say I finished the shit out of it and still probably only got about 50% of the stuff.
Exactly.
I completed the map. I got all the towers and I got all the shrines, and I still was missing stuff. Like there were still places I just hadn't gone.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yep. So I completed the map, but I didn't go all over the map. You know what I mean? Because you complete the map by getting the towers.
Well, sure, yeah. That's easy enough, I guess. I mean.
So that was my Reddit segment. Hope people enjoyed that. I'm gonna try and keep that going because it's pretty fun.
That is pretty fun. I think sometimes Josh and I should add some of our. I don't know that we've shared this with you, but we sometimes just send each other things from the weirdest subreddits that we can find, and it's the weirdest stuff from those subreddits. Yeah, so
that'll work. That'll be perfect.
That will be.
Send those my way too.
Okay, I'm gonna tell Josh that. God rest his freaking soul or whatever, but.
God rest Josh's soul, because clearly he's dead. That's why he's not here.
Yeah, it's really sad that he's dead, and he sucked and had to get killed in the first attack in our battle.
Well, Brock, do you want to move on to some... we got some listeners' questions here.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we got our first one. They both come from Twitter.
Okay.
First one is our star listener, Adam Choate.
Sure.
At the Adam Choate, of course. That's actually a really good question. Do you prefer... Not that he doesn't... Oh, he always has good questions. Sure. I don't know why I said it like that.
Understandable.
He said, do you prefer physical copies over digital movies or games? That is a good question that I'm a little bit torn on, actually.
I think I have an answer, and I think it's just because I've been in a...
Why don't you go first?
Yeah, I've been in a place for a long time where I pretty much only had digital copies of things. Like, I don't know, I mean, probably high school is when it started. I stopped buying DVDs because back then I pirated everything. Now it's all either streaming or I just own it digitally. And then with games, I have Steam. I mean, I will still sometimes, like if it's a movie or a game that I just love, then yeah, I'll buy the physical copy just to have it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at. And I mean, sometimes I even buy like vinyl and stuff like that. I haven't bought like a physical CD since like middle school or something.
I get that.
Yeah.
I kind of tend to agree. I have no physical music anymore.
I
just have Spotify.
Yeah, same.
When it comes to movies, I'll buy the Blu-rays. I really like them. Like, I'll buy movies and TV shows all the time.
Sure.
When it comes to books, I will always prefer the physicality of a book.
That's fair.
But I like my Kindle, so I'm not, and my audiobooks.
Oh, yeah.
Which really just means I'll probably end up owning all my books 3 times, which sucks.
Yeah, I've been there.
As far as games go, that's where I'm torn. Like, I'm getting to a point where I used to say I only ever wanted the physical copies, and I still do prefer the physical copies, but more and more I'm finding myself just finding, like, a full game during sales on the PS4, and, like, bought it. Like, The Last of Us was on sale a few weeks ago for, like, $10, and I said, yeah, that's mine. Bloodborne, the complete, like, with all the DLC and everything, was like $20 a couple weeks ago on sale.
That's fantastic.
And I said, we're gonna download that.
Oh yeah, like right away.
Same with like Dragon Age Inquisition. And these are all big games that I would have rather had like the disc for. But I saw them on sale, and I'm like, nope, we're digital copy. Don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
So I think I'm slowly moving to it where I honestly think if I had infinite space, I would just buy all digital at that point. Because I think that's why I'm holding on to physical for games, is because the limitations of space.
Sure, that makes sense.
And I don't want to have to go out and buy like another like 2 terabyte thing for my PS4. I want to like keep it as.
On PS4, I've pretty much like given into the idea that I'm just going to own all these games and like delete a couple and re-download them as I go along, because I'm in that.
I do like that. I do like that, especially with having a PlayStation Plus. Now you can just go in and add to your library.
Exactly.
But you don't have to download
every month.
They're all just in your library.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, because you used to have to go in and like re-download it. Like, it'd say you always bought it, but you had to go like go find it, go re-download it. With this, it's like go to my library. All right, now reinstall.
Another thing I just wanted to say about that is, as far as games go, for me, it's like a lot of my favorite games right now are indie games. Like, for instance, Life is Strange. I mean, it might now, but at one point it never had a like physical release. It was all digital because it's indie.
Oh, so. Yeah. Indie games will always be digital.
Generally.
Like, I got Uncanny Valley waiting on me, which I'm really excited to play, even though I've heard some stuff about it.
Sure.
But it looks really good. Even like back in the day, like Castle Crashers, Minecraft.
Of course, never say never, because Minecraft eventually did get a physical release and blew into what it did. It's very crazy.
It's weird to even think that Minecraft was ever an independent game.
It's bizarre.
Because it's made more money than like so many games.
It's crazy.
But anyways,
yes. Next viewer question, or listener question.
We got one more, and this is Snappy McCat. Oh, God, I love that
That's
name.
That's a great name.
That's at Snapcat Music, and he wants to know, why are your voices so soothing?
Oh, that's nice.
Well, Snappy Cat Music. Let me break this down for you. It's all in the delivery.
Yeah, it's all about drinking a lot of whiskey.
Drinking a lot. And
just not drinking anything else, really. Yes. Just kidding. I pretty much never drink anymore. But
you okay,
when
Brock?
I do drink,
really?
I drink whiskey. But I really don't. But that would be my advice for having a silky smooth voice. Yeah.
Silky smooth voice?
Yeah.
Just whiskey and nothing else.
Whiskey and nothing else. So that's my advice.
I feel like that works.
Yeah.
Let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Brock, why don't you tell them about our Patreon?
Oh yeah, go check it out. Go give us any amount of money. I believe. Does it start at $3 or $5, Tyler?
It actually starts at $1.
Wow, it starts
you
at
don't
$1.
get anything extra, but
sure.
If you'd like to just help us out, now $3. That is when you get access to our episodes from the in-between, those
sure.
extra, like, more focused episodes we do.
Mm-hmm.
Now $5. That's when you get the good stuff. $5 is when you get our videos.
Oh yeah.
Which we have cranked out a couple, and I believe especially you and me are talking about we're gonna start cranking out more.
I'm definitely thinking about recording some gameplay at the very least of things that I'm working on. So
$5 will get you access, like a month or two early access to our videos. And then, but like I said, any little bit helps. Like, the more we get, the more we're able to dedicate more time to doing this, to giving more content.
Yeah, basically, the more money we have, the more we can do. Yay!
Right. It's not just like, give us your money. It's like, no, give us, like, help us out a little bit so that we can give you guys more stuff.
Exactly.
So we can give you, like, more episodes, and so we can, because we're not stressed or busy enough.
Yeah, exactly.
If you would like us to be busier, pledge on Patreon, and we'll busy ourselves even more.
Excellent.
And that's patreon.com/thenerdcult. We also got our regular website, which I'm sure you know about, thenerdcult.libsyn.com. Give us a review on iTunes. We're up there. The more good reviews we get, the more people that'll see us, the more downloads we'll get, and again, the more that we can do. We got, I think, 5 reviews up so far, which I'm very happy with.
I'm proud of our good reviews.
I'm very proud. One of them's from me, which isn't biased at all.
No, not at all.
Not at
Still
all.
proud.
I think I gave us 4 stars.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Maybe you can give us 5 stars in an episodic release.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
This episode was great.
It turned out pretty good.
You can also find us on Facebook and Tumblr. Just search the Nerd Cult, and we're also on Twitter at Nerd Cult Podcast. Tweet to us. Anytime we tweet something out about our episodes or anything, if you don't mind, give us a retweet. Let all your friends and followers know about us.
And of course, ask us questions too on Twitter or email, Facebook, anywhere.
Ask us all the questions. That email is nerdcultpodcast@gmail.com. A little bit of personal stuff. I'm actually working on a new podcast. Don't expect to actually see anything of that for the next few weeks, but keep your eyes peeled. That'll be something fun. Also, I have a book, An Unlikely Company. You knew I was gonna plug it.
I knew it.
I'm never not gonna plug it. Go buy it. It's on Amazon. It's a fun read. Go buy it. Brock, you got anything personal you want to plug?
Nothing this time. Hopefully more next time. I mean, aside from, follow me on Twitter at Brocculonatron. I'm always going to say that. Josh and I still have a little project that we're working on, but we're still behind, so don't worry.
Still behind.
Yeah, don't worry about that for you. Mostly because Josh is still dead from, the accident.
Oh, yeah. As soon as we'll revive him somehow.
Somehow.
Like you said, Phoenix down, something.
Phoenix down. That's usually the way you bring him back.
But anyway, that's all we got for you this time, guys. Thanks for joining the cult. Once again, I'm Tyler Lee.
I'm Brock Parsons.
And this has been the Nerd Cult. And remember, never don't bubble.
Never don't bubble.